All right, greetings. What is going on, everybody? My name is Billy Ray Valentine. This is the Infinite Fringe, right here on the infinitefringe.podbeam.com and hackerhameen.podbeam.com. Anywhere else you can hear my voice right now. We are not live on Truth Frequency Radio, but we're doing this anyway, a special bonus episode for all of you. I appreciate you. So initially, we wanted to get this done. Well, I wanted to get this done for Valentine's Day. I thought it would have been perfect, but the guides didn't see fit for that to happen. But still, full circle, we're here right now. I'm here with Lilac, or who has given me some time today. It's about time. And I was telling you, I feel like I know you at this point. We've been going back and forth on emails for quite some time, but Destiny has brought us together to record this show today, and I'm very grateful. How are you, Lilac? Welcome to the Infinite Fringe.
Thank you, love. Thank you. I'm really happy to talk to you finally.
Yeah. It's going to be a fun conversation. Now, themotherisrising.com is what you do. You have a YouTube.
Yeah.
You have a YouTube channel, a ton of stuff that you're working on. You're working on some books, but tell me and tell the people that are hearing you right now, what is it that you do exactly?
Oh my goodness, that's a good question. Well, I can't really sum it up even in one sentence, I feel, because I feel like I'm working on a few different levels. I'm a storyteller, and I am a sex priestess, and I am a bringer of ancient knowledge. And I'm a mermaid. Many things.
Like a legit mermaid?
Yeah. Well, that's, you know what? That's a story actually for another show. Let's leave it at that.
Well, that's interesting.
That's a very long story.
That's a cliffhanger if there ever was one. But, you
right.
did say a sex priestess, right? And I feel that we are not having sex or experiencing sex properly.
Right.
Right. But there's more to it than that, I feel. There's a definite connection that is made between a male and a female when you come together in that aspect, right? I think it has healing properties. I think there's a lot of things going on that we're neglecting, and we're keeping it very physical. Tell me if I'm wrong, and feel free to correct me.
Oh, no, you're not wrong at all. It's not only healing properties, it's mostly creation properties. Yeah. So what people don't understand is really what you do in the bedroom or in the car or in the club, wherever you have sex. what you do when you're having sex with someone, you're basically creating your reality, not just your reality. You're creating reality, period. And because we have been so programmed in so many ways, but especially in our sex, in sex, we've been programmed so deeply and so in such a warped way. We're actually creating a horrible reality, and we're not even aware of it. I mean, everyone just has to look at the world around them, just to see what's happening right now. And the use of sex, the use of sexual energy everywhere. If you see it in commercials, in movies, so much pedophilia, so much rape, so much sexual assault. This world has really been our sexual powers have been destroyed completely.
And there are sexual powers. Key.
Oh yeah.
I think humanity as a whole has been dumbed down, but not just mentally, just actually with what we can do. We don't know what we're capable of as humans experiencing this reality. We just don't. And I think sex is a big part of that. Now, you mentioned a lot of things there. And I want to pick through all of them throughout the course of the interview. But it's creation. We're creating. Of course, we know we're creating on a very basic level. Well, it's not basic, but on a regular awareness level, meaning everybody knows that if you have sex, you can create another life. Everybody knows it on that level. What else is there to it?
Right. And the life, a baby that's created through sex is just a physical manifestation of the power. I mean, look, a baby, we take it for granted, but creating a baby is it takes magnificent force And I mean, just think of everything that's coming together to create life and everything. And that's just the physical manifestation of what we can actually create with sex and what we do create with sex. And, magic, and that's why I teach sex magic, is because it has more components to it. Magic, it has to do with the power of our imagination, the power of our thoughts, and the words we speak. So it all comes together. And then you put all that together with an orgasm and with sexual energy, and there's explosion of life, of creation that you're manifesting. Can you put me back on track? Like, what was your question?
Oh, you're good. You're good. Don't worry about it. I just asked what were the aspects of creation that we were bringing forth, right? Besides, I mean, having a baby is, the ultimate in my experience, creating a child, right? Creating another life. But there are other aspects to what we're doing, right? So, I mean, it's been, and I don't know if this is a bad thing, right? Lust. You tell me from your experience and what you do, if lust is a bad thing, right? So I think we lust more than we love nowadays. And I don't mind lusting over women. I don't know if that's a bad thing, and go ahead and correct me, man. I'm trying to learn, So if it's wrong, tell me. But yeah,
absolutely. But that's a really good question. I like that question.
Go ahead, elaborate on it. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I don't think lust is a bad thing. But there's a lot to talk about. So, let's talk about religion for 1 second.
All right.
Religion has brainwashed humans since the beginning of it that lust is a sin, is a sinful thing. I mean, we can talk for 10 hours straight about religion, and it will not be enough, honestly. But and what it's done to our powers as humans. But I'm going to try to sum it up as much as I can.
Hey, take your time. Yeah. I'll let you know when we're running short on time, but go ahead and elaborate as far as you want, okay?
Okay, love. Okay. So lust is not a bad thing. It again, I see the way I see lust is how do I explain it? It's I don't want to say power, but it's almost like this energy that we're channeling through us, sexual energy that we're channeling through us. I think that the issue is not the lust itself, but how we use the lust and and with what intention and what thoughts are connected to that lust, what intentions. I will use the word intentions here for lack of a better word right now. And it's not a bad thing. I think it's a very powerful thing if we know how to use it correctly, because it is a sexual, it's channeled sexual energy, basically. But we've been programmed, and our sexual energy has been destroyed completely. So the way we lust now, I think is completely warped and completely, it's fucked up, Yeah. And, boys and girls are taught from a very young age specific things about sex, and not only specific things, but very contradicting ideas about sex. So, girls, we learn that we have to be very modest and, and protect ourselves on one hand, but then on the other hand, the entertainment is bombarding us with these images of highly sexual, slutty women, and so we're so bombarded. And then little boys are, especially today, oh my God, like with porn, like how every child can actually go and watch porn so easily. They learn how to lust in a specific way. And they learn, girls and boys learn how to lust in a very distorted way. And it's not sex. This is not sex. The way we're seeing it in social media, in porn, and every way today, this is not real sex. It's something completely distorted, and it's destroying our powers as human beings as well. It's connected to everything that we are as human beings.
Do you think it's been distorted by design? Right, that's one of the questions I ask most of the people I have on, right? Because it's key. Now it's a deep question, right? And we can pretty much do an entire show on it. And I want to circle back to it, but go ahead and, you just said, oh yeah, so go ahead and elaborate just a bit. Come on.
It's by design 100%, in my opinion, 100%. And it's not just through sex. Our powers are being distorted in many different ways. It's like the human psyche and the human body, like on all levels, physically, emotionally, spiritually, we're being bombarded, and on many levels. So it's not just our sexual energy. It's with food, with medication, psychologically, in so many ways. We're literally being bombarded from every direction since we are born. So it just amazes me. And again, there's so much to say and talk about in the subject, and I really, I feel chills all over my body now, because this is a subject that I'm so passionate about.
Well, it's important. It's important.
I really want people to freaking wake up. And it's, that's why a lot in my channel, I speak about, for example, I give you one example. I speak about nutrition a lot in my channel, and people are, I'm like, why would she talk about food if she's talking about sex right now? It has everything to do with it, because if we want to look at ourselves as a whole being, a whole spiritual, endless, powerful being that we are, we have to look at all these places that we're being blocked in. Like our energy is being blocked. Sex is a huge way that we have to shift the way we view it and the way we use it. And food is so important. I can see, I can see people's energies. Okay. I can see them in a very weird, I can't explain it right now. It's a very weird way that I've always was able to see it. And you can see the energy in a body that consumes animals, that consumes meat, that consumes sugars, that consumes a lot of processed foods. And you can see that the vibration and how it moves in such a low state, how low state, if that makes sense. And when a person like that, for example, has sex, right? They go and they have sex with someone. Imagine the low vibration of the sex they're going to have.
Or the low vibration. Now, does that transfer over to the child if there is one?
Absolutely.
All right.
Of course. Everything that you do is that you are is transferred to the child. And it's not, and again, we're not just talking about physical chill, we're talking about creating reality. We've all heard about the butterfly effect, and how a butterfly flutters its wings in one side of the world and then it creates a tsunami in the other side of the world, right? It's the same about sex. When you're having sex with your girlfriend in your bedroom, you're actually creating an immense power in another side of the world somewhere, wherever, it doesn't matter. And it's all connected. It's like, okay, if I would have to put like an image, it might sound really weird right now, but don't hear what I'm saying. Think of it as a story that I'm telling right now. Okay. So like, imagine everyone has sex on the planet together. I don't want to say orgy because it's not, because it's not an orgy. It's orgy. It's just everyone has a sex together and they're affecting each other in the way we're having sex. So if someone watches a lot of porn and really, really low vibrational porn, if someone was really hurt as a child, they were raped as a child and they're hurting, like, I'm sorry, my brain is always like working like way faster than my mouth. So, so I'm like trying to put all these pieces together and like speak them out.
Yeah.
It's just all connected. Like the fact that there's so much pedophilia today on the planet, for example, we have to, and this might sound harsh, but we have to take responsibility for that because we're creating this. We are creating all the suffering on the planet right now. If we are observing the suffering, we're creating it. And each individual has to take responsibility for what they eat, for how they speak, for how they have sex. These are the most important things. The words, our voices and the words we speak, and the way we have sex, and the way we use our sexual power, not just through intercourse, but all day long how we use our sexual powers, and that's what I teach, because we are sexual beings, and we are using our sexual powers all day long, without even noticing it. So it's how to maneuver and channel this immense power that we have, and we all have it.
Give me an example of how we use our sexual powers on a day-to-day without knowing them.
Looking at someone in the street, and like, for example, whatever, checking out like a sexy girl in the street.
Mm-hmm.
A lot, it's a lot of men could look at her and really just, looking at her and like appreciating the beauty, appreciating this goddess feminine essence that is walking in front of them. If we were in our highest potential, if we were, for example, in our divinity, which that's what I teach, a man in his divinity would be there, for example, and he would look at this beautiful woman, and he would receive and enjoy her essence and her feminine essence and her beauty, and he will see her as a messenger, for example, of the Divine Mother. He will receive so much love, so much inspiration, for example. That's the potential that he can possibly have from seeing a beautiful girl. But a man that's not in his divinity, he would look at this beautiful girl and he would immediately go to, I want to fuck this girl. I want to use her power. I want to use her essence and take for myself. Yeah. Essentially, that's what's happening. When a man looks at a girl in that intention and with that energy, without even talking to her, they don't even have to talk at all. She doesn't even have to see him, but he's kind of sucking away from her energy without even noticing. And same goes for girls, by the way. This is not me blaming men. Like, girls do the same thing. A lot of women do the same. I'm just giving an example here.
No, absolutely. And, let me jump in here for just 1 second, because I wanna get something out before I forget it. Right. So in particular, one of my biggest issues with the way, men have a lot of problems. We know that. One of the biggest issues that I have with women nowadays, and this isn't, well, I guess we got to take responsibility for everything we do, but I feel like it's not our fault because we're born into it and we're manipulated in a particular way. We need to wake up to it. But right. Regardless, women can't take a compliment nowadays.
No, they can't.
Yeah, you can't compliment women on anything. I can't tell them, wow, you are absolutely beautiful. Oh my God, sexual harassment.
Yep.
Go ahead, elaborate on that just a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a lot of conversations with people about this subject. It's, I'm sorry to say, but like, in my opinion, we're totally fucked up. Like, we are living in a time in our evolution that we're so fucked up, and everyone is so confused about their sexuality, about who they are, about their powers. We have been like completely, again, we've been destroyed. So today, women are, we're in this state, after so long of being suppressed by the masculine energy. And this is not the divine masculine. I'm always talking about, in my channel as well, I'm always talking about the dark masculine energy. And you can read it in my book as well, like what that means. It's a free ebook on my website, by the way. And so I'm not blaming men. Men are just as victims as this programming as women. Okay, this is not blaming men. This is blaming a very particular dark energy that is masculine, that has been destroying men and women from day one. And it's chaotic. It's chaotic right now. Like, if I see a couple right now that's actually happy, it's a miracle, in my opinion. It's a freaking miracle. Like, and women cannot take a compliment today because we are so full of confusion. We're so full of fear from men, especially with social media, when we see so much of it's always been here, but now we're seeing it more, and it's in front of our faces, all the sexual abuse and harassment. And us women, we are something men have to understand, very important about women. Women are connected. through our wombs. So me being born in, like, when I was born as a girl, I was born very aware. I was born with like very heightened awareness about this reality. And I always felt the connection to other girls and other women. And it's this connection from our wombs. We are literally connected through our wombs to each other. So even though I had wonderful men in my life, I never was hurt by a man. I was never raped, thank goddess. I was, but I feel the pain and the suffering and the trauma that every other woman feels on this planet subconsciously. It's ingrained in my body, like literally. So yeah, a lot of times when a man, and now I'm more aware, obviously in my earlier years, a lot of times when a man walked up to me and gave me a compliment, I couldn't take it. I just couldn't. And even, and obviously there are ways to give a compliment, and you have to understand, even though you can be a very nice man walking up to a woman, giving her the best compliment, you have to understand before you today, she probably had 10 other men that came and gave her a compliment in a very nasty way.
Yeah.
So you have to remember that it's not about you. She's not attacking you. She is protecting herself.
And men need to take that into account too, and how we're complimenting women, if it's even a compliment, right? 9 times out of 10, there's a difference between a compliment and just nasty whatever it is you're doing.
Exactly. And also, it's not just that. A lot of nice men can come and give a compliment, but really they're not really being 100% aware of themselves, and they're giving this compliment with a desire to receive something from this girl. So a woman would feel that. And you can talk in the nicest way, but subconsciously some women, if they're very sensitive, they would feel that, and they're not going to react very well to you. So it's just being very aware of ourselves as human beings, men or women, and approaching each other with compassion, with understanding that we have traumas that we're holding. All of us, men hold trauma from women, and from, we're all holding this. And we're all in a very confused time. So really understanding, that's why I'm so passionate about teaching men and women about each other and about themselves. Women have to learn how to be women. Men have to learn how to be men. And we all have to understand the opposite sex, and understand how the other works and the nature of the masculine and the feminine, so we can approach each other in a better way.
You served up my next question. You're reading my mind, right? So you said women need to be women and men need to be men. I feel, and correct me if I'm wrong, or correct me if you feel differently, but I feel there are roles between a man and a woman that serve us best in the balance that is creation, right? In the balance that is reality. Personally, that's the way I feel. Those roles have been completely corrupted, right? To the point where women don't value the power of creation that they hold inside of them. They'd rather go to an office and work than have a family. And men, I think this started with men way back in the day on television, like the Honeymooners, stuff like that, when men expected a certain thing from a woman, right? They needed to be in the kitchen. They needed to be this and that. That was the meaning from the beginning, triggering the women's uprising and, putting us at each other's throats in a lot of ways. Give me your thoughts on it.
Right. This is a very important thing to talk about. So there are a lot of layers to what you just said. Okay. And I'm giving you my perception. I'm giving you my opinion right now.
Absolutely.
And from observing this for a long time and feeling both sides, feeling the masculine and feeling the feminine, and the destruction of both. Obviously, the feminist movement have awoken, for a reason. We needed that feminist wave to come because women have been so suppressed by men. But we've lost our femininity completely. Now, I'm not saying women should not go work. I absolutely do not think that every woman has to birth a child and be a mother. I will always repeat this because I also, most of my life work with children, and as a nanny, with children, and a school teacher and everything. And I see I saw thousands and thousands of parents my whole life up close. And I'm going to say something that might sound very harsh, but I'm here to speak up. I believe that most human beings are not meant to be parents.
Ooh, okay.
I know that's harsh, especially in today's society when we are completely distorted and we are not working on our own shit before we bring kids into the world. So we throw all our shit onto them.
Can't argue with that.
And then we raise another generation of fucked up humans, basically. Okay. And so not everyone, again, life force energy is life force energy. It doesn't have to be birthing a child. A lot of women and a lot of men are here to birth something into the world. And there, it doesn't necessarily have to be a physical baby. Okay. But yes, women, absolutely, we have lost our connection to our femininity, to our pure divine feminine power. And men have completely lost their connection with their divine masculine.
Agreed.
And
100. Go ahead. Continue.
I really believe, and I really believe that once we find that connection again and we live from that place, everything will be balanced. Not because okay, I have been working my whole life. I'm still working and will always work on connecting with my divinity. It's a never-ending process. And I'm just going to give you an example of myself. I am the most motherly person I know. Okay. My dream since I was a child was to adopt all the animals and all the children and take care of all of them and save all of them. And it's still my dream. I know it's crazy. It sounds really crazy, but it's still what I feel like I'm here to do. But also since a very young age, I knew that I will never birth a child physically from my body into this world. I always knew that. When I was a child and I said that to everyone, people thought I was stupid and crazy. And I'm just, when she's older, she'll probably want to have kids. She's crazy now. I'm still feeling the same way. I am not here to birth a child, but I'm the most motherly person that I know because I'm so connected to my feminine power. And I am here to birth knowledge, to birth truth. I am here to birth a specific type of energy, which I am birthing all the time through me because I'm connected to my womb, my body, and my feminine power, but I'm birthing it in different ways. And if I would have been birthing a child right now, all my energy would have gone to the child because that's what a mother should do. A mother should give, like, if she knows, if she's in her divinity, in her best power, and she knows she's here to birth a child, she will give her most of her energy to this child and to make sure that the soil that this child is growing on is perfect. But it's not the case today. A lot of women, and I would say most women, have a child because they should have a child, because society tells them they have to have a child, because it's time for them to have a child, because they're growing older and their clock is ticking, blah, 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 whatever. A lot of women don't actually have a child because they really, really know that it's their soul purpose right now to have this child into this world. And the same goes for men. Same thing. I mean, look at us today. Like, most kids grow up without a father. I grew up without a father, Mm-hmm. And when you grow up without both parents in their divinity in your life, there is always going to be a part of you that's going to be unwhole, that's going to, that's going to search, that's going to have to struggle harder. That's my thoughts about that. Okay. Obviously, I have a lot more. But
No, absolutely. Don't worry about it. You're doing great, man. So I do want to ask you before we get into actual sex magic, because that's a loaded term, right? I hear that and I'm like, what am I supposed to think? So I want you to explain that. But monogamy, how do you feel about that? Right? Do you think that is a natural function of a human? Do you think that is, the way we should be doing things or not?
Okay, awesome questions. Thank you for asking me about monogamy. Okay, monogamy. I have so much to say about that. Me personally, I have always been and always will be a monogamous person. I believe that, again and again, I am saying this because I am seeing the potential of human beings. I am not seeing human beings as they are right now, programmed into this world. I am actually seeing the way human beings were meant to be. We are such divine creatures. Like, we haven't even begun to touch our full potential yet. Okay. And in our divinity, in our state of divinity, I see us as monogamous creatures. I see us as creatures as both whole and both connected to their divine purpose and their divine power, coming together with the right partner after they have been preparing themselves fully and consciously and growing and basically coming to this union prepared, right? Which most people don't do. Most people just think that they're perfect and don't have anything to work on themselves. And then they come to relationships and then everything is screwed up, right? And so in our divinity, we come to this union, and because we're already divine creatures, it is divine. It's not like a fairy tale divine, like we're all programmed, like we're all raised on these fairy tales of Prince Charming will find me and we'll be together forever and ever, blah, blah. No, people forget a very crucial part about a divine union. A divine union between a masculine and feminine is created in order to create something new. So you know how we have the triangle shape. The triangle is a very sacred shape in sex magic. It is 3 points. It's not just 2 points. So when 2 divine points come together, they create a third point of energy, and that could be a physical life of a baby, but that's mostly other things as well. Things that a divine couple come together to create something in the world, so a lot of people today are, all about open relationships and all that. And I know I have a lot of friends who are in open relationships, and I honor them and I respect everyone's path. But it's not. I'm sorry, but I would have to say bullshit. I there's so much I want to say about that, and the problem is, it is a very beautiful idea. A lot of people come to it with very beautiful intentions, but they're not. But I see people, I feel them, I observe them, and they're not coming. If people would come together for an open relationship, fully aware of themselves, of their conscious and subconscious, and all their dark and shadow, it could work. But 99.9% of people don't do that. Mm-hmm. 99.9% of people are coming together with not working on their shadow at all, and just with this beautiful idea of an open relationship, and it crumbles because it doesn't have a strong base. And again, and then when you do that, when you invite more energies into your relationship, it's just creating more chaos, because you're inviting more people who are not aware themselves, and everyone is chaotic, and they're bringing all their chaos into this whatever mash of emotions and sexual energy you're creating here, and it's all crumbling, and people never feel stable in that environment. Of course, there are couples that feel great about it, but people who really want to dive deep and really want to grow, I don't see any of them are happy in that kind of relationship. And I feel like we're all missing a piece, and we're not coming to this. People don't come to a union today, if it's monogamous or open, doesn't matter. They don't come to a union ready. People just fall in love, and they don't do the inner work. They don't do their own shadow work. They're not preparing themselves. Coming into a union, and again, my sisters from the sex temple that teach me, that they are from another dimension. I have never mentioned this before, by the way, even in my channel. I am being taught by sex priestesses from other dimensions I don't want to say past because it will not be correct, but it's in another dimension.
Incredible.
And the union, when a man and a woman, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't even matter if it's a man and a man or a woman and a woman. We're talking about masculine and feminine energies coming together in a union. They are doing so much preparation work beforehand, so much physical, emotional, spiritual, on all levels, a lot of cleansing, a lot of healing before they come to this union. Now, on this physical level, in our reality, in our time-space reality that we've already created, we do need these relationships that we're always, I have a boyfriend, I have a girlfriend, and we're coming together and we break up after 2 weeks or 2 months or 2 years, doesn't matter. We need those connections because these are the mirrors to teach us, because we don't have the sex temples of the past. We don't have the right teachers to teach us. So these relationships are the teachers, are the mirrors that we need in order to grow, in order to expand. And the problem is we're not really doing the work correctly, even when it comes to us. So every time that someone is in a relationship and they break up, they blame the other person for all their shit. Yeah. Instead of seeing the other person as 100% mirror for who they are right now and how they can grow and expand and become a better human being. And that is a very difficult work. That's deep shadow work, and it's not very easy for most human beings to look at their shit.
Absolutely. Casual sex, non-existent, right?
Casual sex, yeah. Oh, God.
It's not a thing, right? There is no such thing as casual sex. Give me your opinion.
No, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're creating reality.
Exactly. Right, cool.
You're going to create something with every sexual encounter you will have with a person, with any person.
Agreed. Let's talk about sex magic in general. All right, so we hear this, right? Or at least I hear this. I don't want to talk for anybody else, but I'm thinking about, I'm having a hard time trying to describe what I'm actually thinking, but things that can be manifested actually through sex, more or less. I know that's a very broad thing, but I'm having a hard time describing exactly what I'm thinking. But I'm not thinking regular, everyday sex. What is sex magic? Tell me something about this. Enlighten me on this.
Well, again, like you said before, it's a very broad term.
Absolutely.
And it's not just hours and days of talking about it. It's months and years, and that is why, and that's one of the reasons that even in my channel, I don't post a video every week. I let the information sit and mellow with people. I haven't even begun to talk about sex magic in my channel, and I've been doing it for 2 years now. I haven't even begun because people are not prepared for it. Sex magic, if I have to put one sentence over it, it's what I said before. It's creating reality through sexual energy, which we do all the time.
Yeah.
But really going deeper and learning and the sex temples that I'm talking about, that I am the priestesses that I'm learning from, they're schools. They're occult schools of hidden knowledge. It's not hidden in that dimension. Unfortunately, it's hidden in our dimension because our dimension has been imprisoned in a way. We are literally in a prison, in kind of a prison dimension right now.
How do you access these other dimensions?
Again, food is number one.
Okay.
What you put in your body. We have to remember to increase our frequency. So if we're going to keep eating low frequency foods, the most important thing is to stop eating animals. When we eat animals, it affects it affects us on so many levels I cannot even begin. We will need a whole show and probably a few to talk about what eating animals is doing to us as humans.
Okay.
And how it's affecting us. There's so much, and I'm actually writing. That's why I'm writing books about it, and stories, because I believe that people receive this information better in a story form. But anyway, let's go back to our topic. So keeping our frequency high at all times, and it's food, and it's the way we use sex, and it's the way we use our words, the people we hang out with, just every little thing, like becoming aware of your actions every day and noticing and observing how you are affecting the entire world around you in every little thing that you do. And so that's how we begin to get out of this prison. That's how we begin to see that we're actually in a prison, because most human beings on this planet don't even know that we're in a prison. They're just in the prison. They're thinking it's normal. But you know what, this show and this kind of talks are not for these kind of people, because there are some people that never want to wake up even.
Yeah.
They're so comfortable. They're very comfortable in their little bubble, and they do not want to wake up. And even if you try to wake them up, they will be angry at you and they will make you a devil.
Yeah,
and
but we're planting seeds here is what we're doing. So we're
absolutely
plant the little seed and walk away politely. I know I'm a devil. I'm sorry. Here you go. Take
walk
that.
away politely.
I'm going to go that way right now. But that's what we're trying to do, right? So even if they don't want to wake up, we're going to try to throw it their way and see what develops, right? See what we can get out of it. And that's why I everybody that I have on here, I admire to a certain degree. And when I bumped into your research and what you were doing, I could sympathize and relate to what it was, and that's why I reached out. So thank you again for coming on. I want to talk about real quick, in the interest of time, sexuality, right? Mm-hmm. Masturbation and pornography, right? These are three different things. Sexuality. Homosexuality, transsexuality, bestiality. Go ahead, take it from there.
Bestiality is a whole new. I feel like it has nothing to do with homosexuality and this. Okay,
they don't. They're separate terms, but it's just the things that humans do. As far as sex goes, there are some humans that like having sex with animals. I don't know why. I'm not equating homosexuality to that. I just want you to give me your thoughts on each of them. Which one is good? Which one is not good? Are any of them good? Are all of them good? You go ahead and tell me.
Yeah, of course. I want to start talking about. I want to say about homosexuality. And first of all, there's nothing wrong with homosexuality. It's always been here. It's a person that is homosexual is just a person who was born with, a more feminine or masculine energy in their body. Yeah. It's again, I want to focus on the masculine and feminine energies, and not necessarily men and women.
Got it. It's a good way to look at it, actually. Go ahead.
Yeah, we as humans, we are, whether we like it or not, we are. How do you say? We do everything, and we live by these feminine and masculine energies that we have. We all have both in us. It's all about the balance of them. Most homosexuals are just born with a more feminine, subconscious or consciousness or whatever energy. Now, a whole new subject would be to talk about transgender, which I have a lot to say about that. And that is not something I feel like we should talk about on this talk. We can talk about another time.
No problem.
But absolutely. But I'm going to say one thing about transgenderism. There's nothing wrong with it. Absolutely. This is not, I don't want people to think that I'm saying there's nothing wrong with that. All I'm saying is that it is a part of the design of the brainwashing that we're going through right now. Okay. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Now, when you talked about bestiality, that's, that's a very weird subject. And I'm gonna say something for you, and people give you something to think about. Okay.
All right.
When someone has sex with someone, what they're really seeking is the energy of that thing that they're having sex with. So when a man rapes a child, what that man really wants is to take the energy of that child, is to become with that energy of his own inner child. It's complete misuse of sexual energy. Obviously, it's the complete darkness of sexual energy. So when a man has desire to have sex with an animal, it's about taking and using and sucking away the life force of that animal on a very subconscious level. These are manifestations of this distortion that we have as human beings right now, because we're not in our divinity, and we have been completely programmed, and we have been completely brought to the point of full confusion about our sexuality. So yeah, that's what I have to say about that subject. Obviously there's so much more to say, but it's going to take hours. So
no, agreed.
I hope what I said makes sense.
No,
if
absolutely.
Not,
you gave us a bit on it, and that's what I asked for. Now, masturbation and pornography, and I think we touched a bit on pornography in the beginning of the conversation. I'm not sure if we recorded it or not, but I'm pretty sure we did. But in the event that we didn't, regardless, masturbation, is it a good thing? I feel like it's a natural thing, right? Everybody does it at some point. Yeah, and I mean, it's demonized by some religions as a bad thing.
Religions.
All religions, there you go. I mean, I don't know all religions. That's what I said. Some. So
yeah.
But
all of them.
but yeah, go ahead. Elaborate on masturbation, and are we somehow, so they say by spilling our seed, right? The male, that we're doing something bad there. I mean, I don't think that's the case, but I want your opinion. Okay,
so every religion, I mean, I am completely against religions. I think it has to be wiped out of the planet Earth. But the idea that what religions did is they took some truths and kind of distorted them. So the idea in Judaism, for example, that a man should not masturbate because he's going to spill his semen, that is actually coming from a very deep sexual sex magic teachings, because a man, when he has an orgasm and his semen is out of his body, he's actually he's wasting a lot of his life force. Like, he's literally wasting his own life force. It's not about being sinful to God or blah, 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 or all this bullshit. It's literally a man wasting his life force. And what religion and what this dark energy is aiming to do is to deplete us humans from our life force and from our power. So do you see? So, and by doing so, let's actually go back. I don't want to, because I'm going to spin myself around. So masturbation is not a bad thing. Children, we do it from like a very young age as children. It's a very natural thing. We should all touch ourselves and explore our bodies and feel the sexual energies that's rising within us. The thing is, how do you masturbate? Do you masturbate to porn, that has images of abusing women? When you are watching that while having an orgasm, you are creating more of that in the world, because that's where your attention goes, and you're spilling your life force out, and you're literally creating that reality. And you're helping. And look at our world. Our world is full of this shit. Yeah. And women. So what I actually teach in my channel is that women should have more orgasms, more. And men should have less. And I will explain.
Okay.
Yeah, I will explain. And actually, I should correct this. It's not an orgasm; it's ejaculation. There is a way for a man after I know a few men who actually have achieved this, but it takes a lot of practice. And again, this is high teachings of sexual priestesses. There is a way for a man to have an orgasm and to enjoy the orgasm while not ejaculating, while still keeping his life force in his body. Okay. And women, we actually need to have more orgasms, because we are the center of our power is our womb, is our sexual center. That's why in the temples, in the sex temples, the teachers were women. We led the sexual teachings, the union, everything, because that's what we're here to do. We are men and women are sexual creatures, of course, but the center of the woman's power is her womb and her sexual. That's why we can have multiple orgasms. We are creatures that are meant for ecstasy. And men, their center of power is their heart. And you can see how the society is completely warped up this idea, by the way, because since the boy is born into this world, he's taught that he has to fuck as many more women as he can because that's what makes him a man, right? Yeah. And a woman is taught that she's all about the heart and the feelings and all that, blah, blah, blah. And yes, we are very emotional creatures, but the center of our power is our sexual organs, while the center of the power of the men is his heart. So when a man learns to watch porn a lot and masturbate a lot and sleeps with a lot of women, he's disconnecting from his heart and from his center of power. So he's disconnecting from his own divinity.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. it makes a lot of sense, actually. And I was going to bring it up.
And us girls, we learned that we have to be, we work from the heart, and all we have to do is be in the kitchen and look after the children and blah, blah, blah. And like, we are completely disconnected from our true divine power, which is our sexual power.
I was going to bring it up, but how women can have multiple orgasms and men aren't designed in that fashion. Maybe there's something to it. Yeah. And also I've heard of legends of people that can have orgasms, men that can have orgasms without actually ejaculating. I think in Asian, in Japanese or Chinese lore, I'm not sure exactly which one, but I've heard of that. And you actually know people that pulled this off.
Oh yeah, and it's not that hard. It's not a very hard thing. It just takes commitment and practice. That's it. Well, but the problem is that not many men are actually committed to it. Yeah, many men just want to come and ejaculate. Like they don't want the trouble of practicing this.
And you know what? I'll go back to say that we have been taught that that's the way it is. And it evolves into the convenience of everything. And I want to talk to you about the future of sex, right? But the convenience is that's what is imprisoning humans, in my opinion, right? And it's a part of it. It's not everything, but it's that carrot at the end of the pole. It's being convenient. So we're looking for the easiest way to do everything. If we can make a machine that's going to do something for us, we're going to get that machine to do it, regardless of the consequences. So we can sit back and do whatever it is. And this is on a physical level, not even on a mental level. And I feel like that's the disconnect. We should be working mentally and through meditation and sexuality and so on, to achieve these other levels of humanity, like another level, like powering up, like in a video game, or when you achieve the next level in a video game. Let me just put it that way for people to paint that picture. It's easy to make that connection that way. That's what we need to be doing here. We need to level up, in my opinion, Lilac. But I want to talk to you about the future of sex, because it's going to be very, very interesting very, very soon. Right. And we have sex robots being made all over. We have sex brothels for robots now, and on a lot of levels, we can break this down. But I just want to talk about the actual, physical connection between a man and a woman and how we're being pushed away now. Do you think? I think that we're going to survive this personally. This assault on sexuality through the artificial. I think we're going to survive it because the attraction, at least for me, maybe I'm just talking out of my mind and not applying it to everyone else, but when, I want to be with my partner, you know what I mean? Like I want that. I don't want a machine, but maybe some people do want a machine, and I'm just underestimating these things. Give me your thoughts on AI, the unnatural, and sex robots.
Okay. It's definitely here, and it's going to get bigger. And you remember what we spoke about before, how we are living in such a confused time. And Absolutely. if you see a couple that's truly happy, in their union, it's like a miracle, because what this programming is aiming to do mostly is to destroy our connection to each other. And because our connection to each other, the true connection, this divine connection we have as human beings to each other, is what's giving us the power as well. So destroying that, I mean, honestly, like today, like just talking with girlfriends, I even hear myself sometimes saying, "Oh, I'm done with men," or like, and men say, "Oh, fuck women," and I'm done with women, and I can't do this anymore, and like, because we're so confused, and we're coming to relationships, and we're confusing each other even worse, and we're hurting each other without even noticing, and so we're losing slowly that desire even to be connected to another person.
Yeah.
And we're losing so much of our own self by doing that. So this sex robot thing is just like obviously another step of this. And of course, most of the people who are going to use that are people who are completely dumbed down, I have to say. I do believe that we will pass through this state of robot bullshit, whatever, even though it's still going to be there for a long time. It's going to be there.
Oh, absolutely.
Like my vision of the future. But the most prominent, I don't want to be like the party spoiler, but I could
always go ahead.
Yeah, I could always like, this is another thing, I could always see a future timeline since I was a child. And the thing is, I see a few timelines because the future has multiple timelines. It's not like I'm going to tell you right now, oh, we're heading towards this direction and that's it. It's not true, because we have free will and we keep changing the timeline. But the most prominent future and path that unfortunately I'm seeing right now is not very good. It's I mean, just generally, not just about sex and everything. It's not good. It's because, and again, I'm going to go back to the idea of food and nutrition, and the amount of suffering and pain that is caused to animals for food on this planet, not just for food, for other things too. It's directly connected to where we're heading, directly. And you have to understand that killing any live creature is dark magic, is baneful magic, okay?
Yeah.
People don't understand this. And that's why most people who are actually practicing witchcraft, like real witchcraft, like light magic, will never eat animals. Because even if they don't know it consciously, they know subconsciously that this is fucking dark magic. Okay.
Wow.
And it's sacrifice. Like we even have it in the Bible. The Bible is full and is based on baneful magic. Okay. And when you're sacrificing life, especially with such torture and pain and suffering, the way we do it today in the world, just can you put the two dots together and see how it affects our psyche and our spirit, our energy when we consume it? And how it affects the entire planet. We're literally, I will never stop talking about it, because this is actually number one. This is even before sex magic. This is something everyone has to wake up to, because if we're not going to change that, we're not going to be able to change anything else.
Wow.
So
it's powerful, powerful message to finish up on. And I want you to get out them little final thoughts that you just had there. I want you to get them out. But I also, and this was fantastic, by the way. I had an incredible time. Incredible chat. Good job. You killed it. This was fantastic. And I want to have you back on to talk about being a mermaid. You're not getting away with that. I'm going to bring you back on for sure. We're talking about that in some way, shape, or form. But regardless, leave us with whatever lasting thoughts you want to leave us, and then tell everybody where they can find you.
Sure. So my website, motherisrising.com, is the best way to reach me. And my thoughts for everyone: keep your vibration high. Like, stop consuming animals. Stop consuming medications and alcohol. Like, these are all low vibrational things that will keep you in the dark. And I know a lot of spiritual people that are consuming these things, but their vibration, trust me, is still very low. So keep your vibration high. Make sure that you're using your sexual power with full awareness, not just when you're having intercourse with another person, but when you're masturbating, when you're just thinking sexual thoughts every day, when you just start connecting to yourself and observing yourself in a better way sexually. And women, connect to your woman. Men, connect to your heart.
Incredible stuff. Lilac, hold on. I want to talk to you off the air. It's the Infinite Fringe, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us this week and every other week. And whenever you do, make sure you go over to Lilac's website. Make sure you go over to her YouTube page. Hey, listen, if you disagreed with anything that was said, come at me. Like, send me the mail. I'll try my best to weed through it like I always do, okay? And greetings to all of you, blessings to all of you. I love each and every one of you. This is the Infinite Fringe. My name is Billy Ray Valentine. Make sure you check me live Sundays on Truth Frequency Radio, iHeartRadio, 7 p.m. Eastern. We're on TuneIn and anywhere else that you just so happen to stumble upon my voice. HackerHameen.podbeam.com, theinfinitefringe.podbeam.com. We're going to get out of here right now. Take it easy. God bless you. Bye-bye.